Welcome. Alright, so this is the first episode of the Truth Is In There podcast. I am your host, Owen, and welcome. So this is not on a specific topic. It's on what is this about? How am I managing it? Things like that. How are the topics decided? How much will I be interacting with viewers and listeners, which I will go over that. And how will I be judging it? Because judging something to the Bible's word is a very good idea, but you need to make sure you understand the word to begin with, and you don't want to twist the words. So, first, who am I? So, I am Owen LaFontaine, and I've been a Christian since I can remember. It's basically from the beginning of my life, but I don't want to say that because when you're young, you don't really know. But I was baptized in 2018, and I would say that was the pinpoint of my journey with Christ. If you want to see my baptism, it is online. So, yeah, this is what I look like. This is who I am. I'm 16, and I just wanted to start this because I felt called to. And yeah, I mean, that's why. So, I love the X-Files. I love conspiracies, all of that genre. The weird, the wacky, aliens, Bigfoot, Illuminati, Freemasons, from strange to someone came up with it in their mind, anything, and then I just decide how much I'm going to trust it. So that is me. Like, I love looking at every idea with it. So with that, we'll go into what the podcast is about. So this is The Truth Is In There. Topic wise, we will cover every topic from secular to non-secular, to biblical conspiracy to non-biblical conspiracy, same, but like some conspiracy about the Bible. For believers, those aren't true, but I'll get to that in the judging part of how I'm going to judge it, because that's important too. So, with that being said, this is the podcast. Now, I will have a YouTube channel. It's the exact same thing, just you get to see me. There's no fancy editing. It is as minimal editing as I can do. And it's the same editing as the podcast. So if you are watching it on one, it's no different than listening to it. The intro that you heard is not seen during the video. It's just the logo of The Truth Is In There. Reason why I'm doing this is because, so the reason why I am doing that is to, one, I run a second podcast. It's on Magic's The Gathering. It's a card game site. If you're listening to this, probably don't go there. You probably want to enjoy it. But I also work. I have a job, and currently I'm not making any money for this. I'm not making tons of money on Commanderlander. So for now, I need time. I also have an actual job, and I'm putting time into this, which I'm going to do to the best of my ability. But I can't go wasting hours and sleep and all this stuff just to make it good to start. It'll be good, but it's going to be the bare bones when it comes to editing, things like that. It'll sound good and it'll look good. I just can't keep up with fancy pictures, all that stuff. Audio will be great because podcast, obviously, there's no images. So on the YouTube channel, same thing. Want to get that out of the way. You can, if you're listening, you please go subscribe there. And if you're a viewer, please go follow on whatever you would listen to. We're on all platforms. So with that being said, I do plan on YouTube on having live streams at some point when we have a bit of a fan base where it's me live streaming, and I'll listen to your guys's. You'll ask me questions live. I will enjoy doing that. For now, though, there's no live streams. Unless miraculously we get tons and tons of listeners and viewers, either one. that will be great. That is best case scenario. I pray for that. But until we hit about 100, then I'm not going to do any live streams. Just to simplify it, I don't want it to be a live stream and then nobody's asking stuff. But I do want to be open, so I will be do. Those are in the future of open ask me questions. Now the schedule of this is bi-weekly. If you couldn't tell, this is coming out a week, 2 weeks after. So it skipped last week of the trailer. The trailer will be in the beginning of every episode. Possibly, I might redo it. I recorded it in the morning, so my voice was a little deeper than it is now. And by little, I mean quite a bit. This is my normal voice, so this is how you're going to hear it. So I might re-record it, things like that. And there's an outro, which you will hear. Very simple music. There's no segments with that. So the topics and things like that. So it's, as I said, scheduled bi-weekly. Every other, uh, yeah, every other week there will be a main topic, which is a big topic that I will cover, whether it's aliens, 9/11, Freemasons, the big ones, Bigfoot, all the cryptids, all that jazz. Those will be longer, like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on it. And they will be scripted in a sense of notes. So what I say is not scripted. I will have notes because I want it to be factually correct, where I'm not speaking facts that I think are true. I want them to be true facts. However, my thoughts are mine, and it's not somebody else writing the notes. It's none of that. It's all me. It's a one-person show for now. Hopefully, maybe one day we'll have other things like guests. I do plan on having guests. That will be huge. Anybody can be a guest, but I will cover that in a little bit. So with the note thing, they will be noted and researched in depth, and I will get the most facts I can to you clearly and precisely. Now, when it comes to my own thoughts, you can believe them, you cannot believe them, do your own research. I am presenting you the facts of multiple websites, multiple research and time. So I did fact check all the facts that I will be telling you. If something is going to change factually, I will create a episode of fact check at some point, but I'll get into that in a little bit. So the big topics will be scripted. I have a few listed. I'm not going to read them because they might change, so I don't want anyone to get disappointed with it. So yeah, that's the topics. It's a little hard to put out in words, but every other week there will be a main topic that will always be released on Fridays, Friday mornings. Reason why I chose Fridays is because my other podcast is released on Thursdays. I can record this on my own. My other podcast has a co-host, so this one I can record anytime during the week, but it will always be released on Friday because I can schedule it. So I might have 3 or 4 scheduled. I don't think on podcast and it shows you. On YouTube, I know it shows up as a premiere. So you'll see ahead of time how quickly I record. So for those podcasters, if you want to know the next few things, go check YouTube and subscribe while you're there, please, and turn the bell on. I just did a good I'm messing it up. So topics, yeah, there's that. Now there are, since it is bi-weekly, and I didn't want to do bi-weekly to start, but once a week with an hour to an hour and a half of factual evidence, comparing it to the Bible. Sometimes not comparing it to the Bible because there are some things like 9/11. How am I comparing the facts to the Bible? Besides corruption like that, I'm not here to give you a lecture on what is right and wrong when it comes to morals. But when it comes to facts, I can't compare that. So that will go under the just conspiracy, but that will be in the judging. So there are topics and there are articles and there are things that come out daily on conspiracies. Now I'm going to be putting out probably, I don't know, there's not a schedule whenever I release it. So there will be at least one released every week. So you'll get something every week, but it will be shorter uh, episodes that are around 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 40 minutes, who knows, however long I can run my mouth and you guys can get information from it. And those are not topics. They are not noted at all. I will have the article in front of me, and that's pretty much it. It's okay, I read this on a conspiracy or on something that's going on that is close to conspiracy. And here's my thoughts on it. So it's like pre-bits of a future episode topic, if you know what I mean. Like aliens. I'm gonna have main topics on aliens that will be 1 to 1.5 hours long, you know. But there's new things released daily. I just read an article the other day on Elon Musk told Twitter something about aliens. Like that would be info that I would then sit down, think about, and then probably put out an episode, and that would just come out. It wouldn't be edited, anything like that. So that's why minimal music. There'll be music in the main episodes, and there will probably be two, but there won't be an intros pre bits. I'll probably call them my thoughts. So it's a my thought episode because that's what it is. It's my thoughts. I can only give you the facts. I can't change your thoughts. I'm going to give you my thoughts because we're humans. Our thoughts have to come from somewhere. It's either from God or from another human. And that is my goal, is to re-give you facts, let you make a decision as you hear mine. All right? So those are those. There might be 3 released in a day. I doubt it, but it is possible if I was really looking in the articles. Who knows? There might be none released, and you might have to wait a week. That will probably rarely happen. But again, check daily. Turn on the notifications if you want to do it right away. The other thing too is that I mentioned earlier is there are going to be fact checks. Now these are not planned. It's if I have so many things I was wrong on, it might be in the next episode. It might be a fact check segment if it's like right after, and I'm like, oh, I said a fact wrong. Let me fix that. I'll put it out in the next thing I put out. But if I have like a list of things that didn't mean a lot or that were recently changed, like maybe a month later, they realized, oh, all these articles were wrong, and not me, like the articles were wrong, and they revised and did whatever, then I would create a whole episode called a fact check. They're probably only like 5-10 minutes long. So those I would recommend you listening to, because then you're not holding me accountable for things I said wrong. They're out for a reason, is so I can fact check myself. So if you think I said something wrong, you prove it wrong, just wait for a fact check video or episode. It'll be out. I'm honest. I want this to be as open and honest as my thoughts can be, because you need to have a source you can trust, and I don't want it to be this edited mumbo jumbo. Here's my thoughts, blah blah blah. So that is that. All right, moving on to outreach. Very simple. There will be an email. Thetruthisintherepodcast at gmail.com. It will always be in the show notes or description, depending on which one you're on. I'm just going to say description. I'm going to simplify it. Description and episodes. That will cover YouTube and podcasts for both. All right. So with description, there will be all my info in there to reach me. I will not have socials. Reason being is I don't think socials are very important at the moment of my life. I do plan one day, depending if it's needed, to use some social to do outreach. But when I say that, I do not mean it's about my life. My life, I'm keeping as open as I want it to be. That's it. So if no socials for at least a year, I'm saying that now. However, if outreach is becoming an issue, or I can't find guests, because finding guests might be hard because a lot of them are on Twitter, things like that, I will ponder it and I will get back to you on it. But for now, socials do not look like in the future. And if they are ever in the future, it won't be me. It'll be a computer that I'll have automatically hooked up to when an episode's released. It sends out a link with a picture. That's it. Very simple. because I don't want it to be as unnecessary as it has to be. So if I do have socials, it's for guest outreach to get guests on here, and it would be to uh re no not re it would be to reach out to other viewers and people who might not find it on YouTube. However, that's not for a very long time, so I'm making that clear. Don't search The Truth Is in Our Podcast anywhere because it won't show up besides on YouTube and any podcast in place there is. So get that out of the way. And if you do, I will let you know if I ever do have one, but currently, no. So with that, guests, if you are listening and you want to be a guest, and you don't have to be anyone special, if you're just a listener who loves a certain topic like aliens and whatnot, and you want to talk, email me or leave a comment on YouTube. I will check those. Podcast comments are hard to check. Reviews, things like that, they're hard to check. So don't leave a review. Go on YouTube and leave a review or email me. We all have emails. So email, leave a review, or no, don't leave a review. Well, please leave a good review. Just I lost my thought. You see, this is what's going to happen when it's not edited. So just bear with me. But leave a review, but don't leave a review to be a guest. All right, guests. Now, if you to be a guest, you will have to go through me. I'm not scary, so don't fret. You will have to leave her. You will reach me, and then you'll be like, "Hi, Owen. I am blah blah blah. I want to be a guest on your podcast for this topic." Then you will need to let me know your topic that you're interested in, because the way guesting will work is one of two ways. Either it will be a debate. If you disagree with what I'm saying, there will be a debate, and it will be pre-planned. Not the debate will be pre-planned, but like you'll need to let me know the debate so I can do my research and you can do yours. And it will be a friendly debate, not yelling. Maybe some raised voices, but not yelling. And that will be in debate form, not professional. Just all right. Here's my thoughts. What's your thoughts? Blah blah blah. Back and forth. All right. Then there's guests that are more like a friend. They will be guests that come on and discuss the topic. They won't be debating against me. We'll be talking about it with our thoughts being said out loud, having a good time. Those are the two type of debates. I mean, debates. Those are the two type of guests that will be on. So if you are a listener, you want to be a guest, hit me up. You don't need to be anything special. You just need to care about the topic you're on, and you need to have decent quality of a mic. Not great, but like you need to have a setup where I can record it and not have any distractions in the background. Things like that. All right. I do want to be highly outreach. So I want to hear your guys' feedback. I will respond to everybody. Even when I get big, I'm going to try to respond to as many as possible. Things like that. All right. Now, that's why I want to do streams one day. It will be on YouTube Live, and I'll answer your guys' things live. That's so you can hold me, you can see my thoughts. Or, well, you can't see my thoughts. You can see me talking about my thoughts. So yeah, there is that. Now, how will I be judging it? All right. Very important. So when I talk about the Bible, I'm talking about the Bible, the Christian religion Bible, the base of it. All right. You don't need to know my Christian religion specific. You don't need to know whether I'm Catholic, Baptist, Lutheran, any of those, because those, even if I were Catholic or Baptist or whatnot, any of those religions, extras, I'm talking about the extras. That's good that you have those, but I'm trying to reach to non-believers and believers, and for the believers, I want a base foundation, period. So, like, when I talk about if they're Bible versus saints, I'm going to use saints as a believer, things like that. So, it is the base Bible without the, excuse me, without the added Christian fluff, I guess you would say, And not to be rude to any of those, if you have those, great. I'm just talking about, like, I don't have a disagreement with any of those, but it's just so that my facts can go to all the Christian avenues, and for non-believers, it can be the base facts of the Bible. Saying that, I do believe Jesus is part of the Bible. So for the Jews, that will be a part of the Bible. I don't know how many that we'll talk about. And I'm not saying that's bad. All right. I don't disagree. I'm not picking on any of the religions, because I am one of those Christian religions that I pointed out, and I am excluding the extra fluff from it. Reason being is not to disagree with other religions. It's the base Bible, the book that God wrote without our interpretation of the extra stuff. All right. It's the Bible, the words, things like that. All right. If you have questions, email me, please. I want it to be very clear. It is not anything added. When it's the Bible, it's the pure Bible, none of the extra beliefs. All right. Not that they're bad, but to get that out of the way is that it's the base Bible. So, like, if you're Catholic and I don't bring up, like, pray to Mary, something, and it might disagree with it, that's why. Or if you're Baptist and whatnot, Lutheran, that is why. It's because I'm using exactly what the Bible says without other religion interpretations. It's my interpretations of what I've learned and what God has brought to me. All right. Get that out of the way. Now, if you disagree with anything I say, don't leave some angry comment yelling at me. You're not going to change my opinion very easily. All right. If I'm doing hours of research on something, you've got to give me hours more of research to go against it. All right. Now, that doesn't mean don't leave a comment. If you don't like the way I judge something and you're like, oh, well, here's the facts. All right. Look at the facts one more time. Or this goes against this or whatnot, and you see something I don't, email me in a respectful, critic way. I want to be criticized. Criticize me all you want, but do it in a respectful way, not an angry way. All right? Respectful, not angry. Thank you. And I honestly am excited for criticism, because it will make this podcast better, make me better, and challenge my beliefs. Other thing, too, is I do get there's non-believers. So this isn't going to be biblically heavy. It'll be biblically founded, but not heavy. As in, there's not going to be a Bible verse brought up every time I speak a word. It'll be, all right, this topic happens to go against the Bible. Here's what the Bible says. All right. Don't listen to that episode if you don't want to. I recommend you do, because then you're also hearing it from my point of view and from other people like it. Just like there are some verses that conspiracies that won't be able to be compared. So now getting into the judging part of things, I do get there are conspiracies you can't compare to the Bible. In that case, there will be ways to judge. All right. So there's true. All right, just true. If I judge something true, it means it's biblically true and factually true. So true. Then, if it disagrees with the Bible but is factually true, which I highly doubt, but some cases that might be true, it will be factually true. Then, if it disagrees with the facts, or if there are no facts, but the Bible has facts, for the biblical non-believers, that might not be true. So then it would be biblically true. All right. So true is true all around. Biblically true is only biblically true, and factually true is factually true in the name. All right. Then there's the same thing. There is biblically false, but then it might be factually true. But that will not apply, because then it would just be factually true. All right. So there is no false. There is false, period. There's no biblically false and factually false, because that would just be the opposite. So I'm just saying it's true. But there will be a false, because that means it disagrees with both, and it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo that our minds came up with. Don't know how often I will be judging. Reason being is most conspiracies aren't able to be proven, and if they are, it will be up to the time of whether it is or not judged. So that's how I'm judging. If you hear it and it happens to be true or false, that is how it will be judged. Now, the reason why I'm not looking heavy into the Bible verses and everything like that, are there, I will be leaving heavy into a biblical foundation. There will be verses brought up. My mindset is all biblical, everything like that. But I'm not going to bring up every verse, every single minute of like, all right, this is true because the Bible, all right, we're looking at the facts too, because I do get there's non believers, and that's important. This is not for outreach of be a Christian, blah, blah, blah. This is for the truth of conspiracies. That is why I'm judging it. I am a Christian. So this is a Christian podcast. But if you are a non Christian, I want it to be as friendly as it can. All right. Now, that is all for this episode. It's a self explanation. I will be releasing an episode 2 weeks from now. I will probably have a episode in the middle. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Please leave a review. I know the trailer might have been cheesy, all right, but it got the point across. I wanted to make sure that people know I am Christian. All my thoughts, I will say Christian. It is based Christian. There isn't Catholic Christian, Baptist Christian. It's just Christian to the pure form. And I want it to be open for non-believers to question my faith and question other guests and things like that. All right. And I also want to make sure it gives you guys an opportunity to be guests because I find that important. I don't know why. I find having people on, the people who listen, the people who enjoy that should be able to come on. All right. Now, when it comes to look at monetization, I want to make this a full-time job with my other podcast, but currently I can't. So that's a goal of mine for this year. But at the end of this year, I want to have ads at the beginning and end, not in the middle. I don't believe in mid ads. Reason being is mid ads, they interrupt conversation. It's really annoying. It depends. All right, if it's a really paying ad, it'll go in the middle, but I'll have a segment for it. It's not just going to interrupt the conversation. It'll be very, very planned on where it goes, but I'm going to try to stick only to the end of podcast episodes and maybe at the beginning, but they will be segmented. They're not gonna be like, boom, ad, listen to this. All right. And they're not just ads that are useless, they're ads that are going to appeal to listeners of a conspiracy Christian podcast. All right. Whether it's conspiracy, life, or Christian, it'll all be there. All right. Now, when we get a fan base, I need to know if you guys would want merch. I do have a logo. It's a very cool looking logo. My friend drew it. She's a great artist, and she one day might be on this podcast. We've mentioned it. And that is another way to monetize. So, in that, I would want to do that art. I love designing shirts. I mean, it's not hard. I have the logo. I would just have to buy them. But for the way that looks, it would probably be a website where you go on, buy the stuff. Right? I'm gonna wait. So, but if there's a bunch of people listening to this, email me, blow up my email saying you want merch. All right, it's just the logo. I will probably have some stuff. I can do mugs, pens, I guess, shirts, hats, simple stuff. All right. The normal things that other people have just with our awesome logo. Maybe notebooks and stickers, like cross stickers with the logo. Maybe just a square logo for the non-believers. So maybe things like that. I would love to do that. Other thing too is I'm deciding on whether or not to monetize using courses. There are ways that I can monetize using a course. I would find that fun, but currently I do not have time. So again, for this, what I'm about to say, I would have to have this be a full-time job to begin with. But one day I would love to have a course where it's probably like a week or 2 weeks and it would be whatever is decided. on how to look at conspiracies logically. Now, by listening to this podcast, you're going to get that. But for those who maybe want a little boost, I will hopefully want to have a course on that. Other way, too, I do plan on writing a book. It'll be a great book. All right. It's tremendous. It will really be a great book. All right. It'll be tremendous. And I was Trump for you. I do impressions, so you might hear some of them occasionally. I don't know how good that'll sound through the mic, but you just gotta trust me. It sounds tremendous. It really does. All right. So I'm gonna be my true self on this podcast. So if you don't like it, go ahead, leave. I don't care. Well, I do care a little bit, but that's because you're judging me on the fact of an impression. All right, I'll do a bunch of different ones, but it just mashed. So, but of course, I think it would be fun to do. Of course, I might do one day. I don't know what the cost will be. I don't know what it will be about too much. I do have an idea of that. And then a book, as I said, I do plan on writing a book. I don't know when it will be released. Maybe by the end of this year, maybe by next year. And the book will be a book basically on this podcast, not on the podcast, but it'll be about conspiracies compared to a biblical response. So in a sense, this podcast is gathering my thoughts, getting a fan base, and then maybe putting books out along the way. All right. I'm open. So course-wise and book-wise, that is that. And really, that's it. I mean, it's simple. I guess that's not simple. I have big dreams. All right. And I think we can achieve those dreams. So please, all right. I would be lying if I said don't tell your friends and family, but the average person in America has heard of conspiracies, and or in reality, everybody in America has heard of conspiracies or believes them or doesn't believe them or has their thoughts and opinions on this. So please share these with everybody. I will have a, I guess I'll have a website out, just it won't have any merch. It'll be about me, things like that. And it will have a QR code or a little file that you can print and you can give out to your friends, or you can just have them scan, things like that. I will one day have business cards that you can give out and things like that. But for now, you can print them. We all, for the most part, have printers. The library does. So if you really want to, you can do that, or just show them on your phone, like boom. All right. Everybody knows conspiracies, whether you believe them or not. Everybody needs a true source of facts that isn't a news outlet. I don't disagree with news outlets. There are some good ones. There's obviously a lot of bad ones, but they're also too busy covering the news to go really in depth in the conspiracies. So all of America knows about conspiracies. So please share this with everybody you know. Even if you don't know if they like conspiracies or not, share it with them. Let them know. Nice. All right, that is the episode. Next, next after next week will be the topic. I might have a little episode in the middle. Who knows on what articles will be released. So yes, that is who I am. That is the podcast. That is how it will be judged. Base Christian. Those are the plans of the future, is to make this my job, monetize it. I do believe this is a thing that needs to be said when it comes to like research. There aren't a lot. I feel like we need more trustworthy sources for conspiracies because there's more and more data, and it's ridiculous how many there are. So that's what this is. I'm your host, Owen. Thank you for listening. Please share with your friends. Leave a review. I know this may be a mess. There's me coughing, echoing, messing up my words, drinking water, only water, and coffee, maybe a little bit of coffee. And it's there for a reason. If I edit it, you would have to question how many times I messed something up or I had to go back and change it. And I'm going to make the audio quality sound nice. Like my voice will sound really nice because that's how I want. My voice already sounds nice. Some people may disagree. That was meant to be a joke. I do think it sounds pretty nice though. But I want it to be as natural and as down to earth in reality. So it's not out there. It's in there. As I can get, so you guys can trust everything I'm saying. Because if you heard it edit, then you'd be like, what did he edit out? Things like that. I do have a pause button. That's the only thing I'm going to be using as a pause is like if I know I need a cough, I'll probably pause it to hopefully get the cough out. But then I'm going to unpause it right away. That's all really it is. And like if there's something going on, you aren't hearing all this racket and whatnot. Other thing too is I will be recording. This is my little corner. I will have a desk. I have a small little makeshift desk, but I'll have all my stuff on the back. It'll have conspiracies. My other podcast stuff will be back there too. It'll be really nice. So sometimes the window will be open. If you hear car sounds, well, not like loud car sounds. It sounds like nature from our house. But like if you hear nature sounds or birds, that's okay. I'm not editing that out. It's part of it. So if you don't like that, well, then don't listen. All right. The other thing too is it's not loud. I'm gonna make sure all the background noise is tuned down as much as I can. Not edited out, tuned down. Because I do know people with earbuds don't want to hear like screeching and whatnot of birds in the background. So it'll be tuned down to be nice. Right? Now again, I'm your host. Thank you for listening. Reach out if you want to, and I would love to hear your criticism. So please email me. Just if you're listening, just email me and say, "Hey, I'm listening." The support will definitely be needed. So share with your friends. Reach out there, and remember, guys, trust no one but God. All right, get out there and find the truth. And I'll see you in 2 weeks, hopefully sooner. Peace out.